AITA for shooting my partner after they pulled the ultimate prank on me? I, F28, have been with my partner, M30, for almost 3 years. He loves pranks. I hate pranks. I have told him over and over that I don't find them funny, especially when they mess with my emotions. But he always says, "It's just a joke, lighten up." This man has done horrible pranks before, faking a breakup, pretending my cat was dead, even staging a fake home invasion just to see how I'd react. I should have left him then. But I didn't. And I regret it. Last weekend, we went on a camping trip deep in the wilderness. I have always been terrified of being lost alone in the woods. It's my biggest fear. He knows this. But apparently, that just made it funnier to him. While we were hiking, he and his friends blindfolded me, spun me around, and told me it was a trust exercise. I thought they were leading me to some surprise. Nope. They dumped me in the middle of the forest with no phone, no map, no water, nothing. Then they took off laughing. I was completely alone. I screamed for help. I ran in random directions. I had no idea where I was. I wandered for hours, crying and terrified. The sun was starting to set. I thought I was going to die out there. Then, I heard rustling. Someone was coming toward me. It was my partner. Alone. Smirking. Holding my phone. He said, "Damn, you actually made it this far? I was about to come get you, but you looked so funny running around." Something inside me snapped. I had been wandering, terrified for hours. My feet were cut up. I had bruises from tripping over roots. I was dehydrated, shaking, and furious. And this piece of shit was standing there laughing. I remembered that, before we left, he had given me a small pistol for protection in the woods. I had it strapped to my belt the whole time, forgotten in my panic. I pulled it out. I aimed it at him. His smile vanished. I didn't think. I just pulled the trigger. I wasn't trying to kill him. I swear. But my hands were shaking. The bullet hit him in the leg. He screamed and dropped to the ground, clutching his thigh. I was breathing so hard I thought I'd pass out. I turned, took my phone, and ran. I made it back to camp. His friends lost their minds when they saw me covered in dirt and scratches, holding a gun. I told them where he was. Someone ran to get help. He survived. He needed surgery but is fine now. The police questioned me, but after hearing everything, they ruled it self-defense because I genuinely believed I was in danger. I remembered that, before we left, he had given me a small pistol for protection in the woods. I had it strapped to my belt the whole time, forgotten in my panic. I pulled it out. I aimed it at him. His smile vanished. I didn't think. I just pulled the trigger. I wasn't trying to kill him. I swear. But my hands were shaking. The bullet hit him in the leg. He screamed and dropped to the ground, clutching his thigh. I was breathing so hard I thought I'd pass out. I turned, took my phone, and ran. I made it back to camp. His friends lost their minds when they saw me covered in dirt and scratches, holding a gun. I told them where he was. Someone ran to get help. He survived. He needed surgery but is fine now. The police questioned me, but after hearing everything, they ruled it self-defense because I genuinely believed I was in danger. AITA for selling my parents' house while they were on vacation? Buckle up, because this one is wild. I, M27, have a very strained relationship with my parents, M58 and F56. They've always been controlling, manipulative, and treated me like a free labor source rather than their son. Growing up, they made it very clear that my older brother, M30, was the favorite. He got everything: new clothes, vacations, a college fund, a car. Me? I got hand-me-downs and a "be grateful you have a roof over your head" speech. By the time I turned 18, they told me I had 2 choices: pay them rent to stay in their house, move out and figure it out on my own. I had no money, no support, and no choice. I moved out and spent years struggling. Meanwhile, my golden child brother lived at home rent-free until he was 26. I barely spoke to them for years. But then, last year, I got an interesting phone call. My parents told me they were struggling financially. Apparently, their brilliant investment choices, aka blowing money on my brother, had backfired, and they were on the verge of losing their house. Now, they suddenly remembered I existed. They begged me to help with the mortgage since I had a good job now. They said it was only fair because it'll be yours someday anyway. I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was years of resentment. Maybe I wanted revenge. But I said, fine, I'll take care of it. And I did. Instead of just helping with payments, I went full evil genius mode. Turns out, their house was still in my grandfather's name. My dad never transferred ownership after he passed, probably to avoid taxes. That meant it legally wasn't even theirs. So I contacted a lawyer, had the deed transferred to me, and sold the house. While they were on vacation, they came back to an empty house and a sold sign in the yard. All their stuff? Gone. New owners? Moving in that week. They freaked out, calling me nonstop, demanding to know what happened. I told them the truth, I took care of it, just like you asked. They lost their minds. My mom was crying, my dad was screaming about suing me. But legally, they had no case. It wasn't even their house to begin with. My brother? He called me, begging me to fix this because now he had nowhere to live. I told him that sounds like a him problem. My entire family is blasting me, saying I ruined my parents' lives and left them homeless. I offered to let them rent the house back, at market rate, of course, but they refused. Now, they're couch surfing at relatives' houses, and I'm being called the worst son in history. So, AITA?